Hello, and welcome to Pressing Buttons, episode 37. I'm Hugo,
I'm Nick.
and it's good to be here. Another episode, another week. Another week, another episode. Damn. It was a crazy weekend for me as I turned 35.
And me
And I've
too,
had, you
because you
turned
turned
35?
35. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm not as young as I used to be, but it was a good night. We went out for dinner, um, and I got so hammered that we're doing this remotely because I couldn't drive to the studio. But yeah, 35. I'm a year older, a year wiser, and I have a podcast now. So life is good. But yeah, that's it for the small talk. We're gonna jump right into the video game news of the week that we like to discuss. First things first, we're gonna start off with Stadia shutting down. For those of you unfamiliar, Stadia is Google's streaming service, video game streaming service. Pure streaming, no physical stuff. You were able to, or still able to, at least until January 2023, stream any games directly if you have like a Chromecast or if you have your Chrome browser on your PC or anything like that. You were able to stream the game directly and play it. There was a lot of games. There was a lot of studios that jumped on board when this first got announced, like Ubisoft and Bungie and Rockstar. You were able to play a lot of their most famous games like Assassin's Creed and Destiny and Red Dead and stream it. Unfortunately, much like a lot of Google's products, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinions, they did not really pay a lot of attention to it. It was more of like a project as opposed to an investment, I think, because I think it only lasted maybe 2, 3 years, if I'm correct. But they're shutting it down. It wasn't making them any money. Obviously, it wasn't available. But people weren't jumping on the bandwagon for it. I think I only know one person that had it, Mitch. Shout out to Mitch, aka Brooklyn Dad.
I had it too,
And
actually,
oh,
but I
and
got it. It's because I got it for free. So
yeah. The good thing about the shutdown is that everybody who made any purchases will get a full refund. So if you purchase any games or any DLC or anything like that, Google's going to refund you the money. So that's good. Reminds me of when Epic shut down Paragon, the third person MOBA that they had, because Fortnite got really popular and they need to invest more in Fortnite. They refunded everybody's money, so I got like $500 back, and I didn't even know I wasted $500 on that game. Um, but it's a little bit sad to see just because I had high hopes for the service, especially with a lot of the console makers, Microsoft and Sony, pushing for streaming. PlayStation with their PlayStation now PlayStation Plus, and then Microsoft with their Game Pass, and doing cloud service on Xbox One and also on PC. Um, it's a weird thing to see. Hopefully, somebody else picks up the technology or sees the stuff that they were lacking in and improve it, so that way we get a good service out of this. And let a real, I use air quotes, let a real game company take the reins of this instead of like a passion product, a passion project like Google did, much like Google Glass and all the other stuff. What are your thoughts on this? What are your feelings? Are you disappointed? Are you gonna miss it?
big feelings. I think this was expected. I think that's kind of the running joke with a lot of Google products. It's just like, okay, like how many years until they cancel the thing? So I think this was like basically exactly predicted to be a few years, and then it gets canceled. And I saw people like circulating a lot of interviews from the beginning days of Stadia, and where I think everyone was asking the specific question to the team at Google, like, hey, how do you how do you convince us that you're not, this isn't something that you're just going to cancel in 2 to 3 years? And they're like, oh yeah, well, we're just investing so much money into it, which I don't think is a compelling answer, but I think that was like basically their response. But here we are, and then it's canceled. I guess they kind of have to refund everyone's money. Like I don't think I guess they don't have to like contractually, but like I think it would be like such a disaster for like Google as like a company if maybe it's not even that many people, but I think that would be like very upsetting if you basically just had like all of your money invested in this platform and then they just like switch it off and you're done. So I think they pretty much have to refund everyone. Uh, yeah, and then and so then it's like a question of is like why are they walking away from this business? Is like is it was it the technology they just like couldn't figure out the right value proposition? Have they changed their minds around what they see like adoption of this type of gaming solution being? So I don't really know what they're thinking, but like to me, I'm still not for me personally. Like I probably won't really use cloud gaming services. Like I would rarely use them, but I do still see them as like a pretty interesting opportunity space where so Microsoft is still very focused on this, and they have xCloud, and then there's also NVIDIA GeForce Now, which is another cloud gaming streaming service, and I think those are probably the two big ones, and then of course whatever with PlayStation Now, which how does that even I forgot like how does that even work anymore with like all of these other. Isn't it like one of the ingredients to like one of their premium subscription offerings where you can get cloud streaming?
Well, yeah, I think it's just rolled into the PlayStation
Yeah, I think
Plus, and the
yeah
higher
they merged
tiers.
it, right? I just
It's
can't
just like
remember
the games, yeah.
which one's in which, but I think I don't know what came of this, but I think Sony actually partnered with they did some sort of like strategic alliance with Microsoft to leverage their Azure cloud platform specifically to do game streaming at scale. So I don't know how much of that, if anything, has made its way into PlayStation's current subscription offerings. But so I don't know. Like I still think there's a future for cloud gaming. I guess Google's just throwing in the towel because they just haven't seen any adoption of their platform. And I think it's really like we've talked about this in previous episodes where I was very impressed by the technology. I used a version, so I've played Fortnite through xCloud, and then I think I played something on GeForce Now through my NVIDIA Shield. I don't remember what it was, but so the xCloud and GeForce Now might have improved quite a bit since the last time I used them. But comparing those experiences with when I used Stadia, like the Stadia stuff was just I thought more impressive from a technology perspective. I think they couldn't get like enough content on there. Like I don't know. So I think it's just like a classic case of the if you don't have the content, like you're just never going to get anywhere. And I think they couldn't get over that hurdle. And that requires a lot of money, and it requires that's like a 5 to 10 year horizon to like actually get enough momentum and to be able to build up enough content to support your platform. So look how long it's taken PlayStation, look how long it's taken Xbox. I think we look at what those companies are doing now, but like it took them a very long time to get to where we're at. So I think Google just wasn't willing to put in that effort.
And that's the funny thing that you mentioned it about the content and the franchises and stuff like that, because they did fork over a lot of money to get Red Dead in there, to get Destiny in there, and to get Assassin's Creed in there. But at the end of the day, that's only like 3 or 4 games that are console sellers, you would say, that you get on your service. People are still just gonna, unless you provide a bigger catalog, they're still gonna stick with whatever they have at the moment. And then a lot of that had to do also with your internet service provider. If you were getting good connection and able to stream it, even though I know from people's use of it, it seemed to work really well, like on a normal connection. You didn't really need to have high-end speeds or anything like that. But this brings up the other question too, which is a lot of the money that they spent initially in the beginning was locking up a lot of games, a lot of exclusives to be put in the Google Stadia system. And I know that they did come into an agreement where they're gonna they're gonna release the contracts of certain game of most or I think most or all of the games, so they can be put in other platforms as PC, as PlayStation, as Xbox, as Nintendo, which is good. But that brings up the fact also that there was a lot of games that were coming down the pipeline from here until January that a lot of these developers they don't know what's going to happen now. Like, are they going to get paid the money? I've seen articles where there was a game that was supposed to come out this week, and now because it's shutting down, like, what's going to happen to that? Are the developers that put all the time and money into developing for Stadia, are they going to get some sort of refund or something like that to get to uh, to do away with those costs? And then like anything else that was supposed to come out between now and January, it's just weird. It's a weird place to be in. Google does have the money, I would say, to kind of give the refunds and pay the developers back, but would they? Is it financially feasible for them to do it? I don't know. I wouldn't be giving out free money like that, but I also wouldn't want any bad PR.
Yeah, I mean, if they only had like 5,000 people using the platform, then it's probably like I just don't know how many people actually invested, more than $100 into Stadia. So it could be this like insanely low number where it's like not even, it's like less than a rounding error to Google. So yeah, the other thing that you're talking about, like the games, like they made an effort to secure some games for the platform, but what I still what's still like not clear to me is, so like I'm a believer in cloud gaming, technology like as a service offering, but specifically like who is that for as like a customer? I think is still something I'm trying to like wrap my head around in terms of what games would that customer like actually want to play. And I feel like most like kind of core gamers, like us and people who have already invested, several $100s or if not thousands of dollars into video game consoles and PCs, like like we've either already played those games or we have access to them on a platform we've already invested in. So to me it's always like who's the intended audience, and then what's the best games to capture that audience. And yeah, like I don't think like Destiny is like a good like Destiny would not have been on my short list, ignoring the fact that I'm like a bit of a Destiny hater. But
Yeah, not for you, buddy. Not
yeah,
for you.
yeah. But like I don't know. I just feel like that's another thing. Like maybe and I think that's where Microsoft's like very focused, where they're just very interested in like expanding their customer base and providing as many different ways of people to basically play their games. So they effectively have PC through Windows. They have an Xbox app, client on PCs. They have their own Xbox consoles. They'll have xCloud. So I guess what I'm interested in is like what types of games get played on cloud streaming versus others, and does that attract like a certain type of like gamer?
Well, no, I agree with you. The funny thing is, as you sure know, is Logitech just announced the G Cloud, which is their cloud centric handheld that's supposed to be out in October, and it's going to be linked with Xbox, Nvidia GeForce Now, and Steam Link, and that's going to be very interesting. Just because one, it's from Logitech, obviously a maker of computer stuff and stuff like that. And then two, it's partnered with a lot of heavy hitters, which are like, oh, that sounds good. That sounds like it's going to have a good catalog. So it's going to be interesting to see something like that. I would want to see something from Sony. I think if Sony gets back into the handheld market, I think they can make it work, especially if it's something where you can sync the two libraries of whatever you have on your PlayStation to be able to access it on the go.
You mean like a
Streaming
Steam
wise,
Deck?
obviously. like a Steam Deck, but a Sony Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Maybe they could call it like a PSP or something. I don't know. Just
Yeah,
throwing names out there.
with all these, like with the Steam Deck, with yeah, I saw that like Logitech device. I think is Razer, or I feel like some other company announced like a similar type of like handheld cloud, cloud based portable machine. So I think with all these like portable devices coming into the market, I think a lot of like Sony fanboys are pounding the table for something new from Sony, but we'll see about that. I mean, I've been really enjoying the Vita, which I don't even know how long. I mean, that came out a long time ago, but people have been able to expand on that platform, and play lots of like emulation and all that. So it's been a really good device to have. So it's like what's a new version of that that's maybe, I don't know, maybe it's like a little bit bigger, but not like Steam Deck size. And then also maybe it leverages cloud, cloud streaming in some way.
Yeah, I mean the lesson we can all learn from this is that games matter, and Stadia not having enough games to draw people in uh, was kind of their downfall, along with Google not really investing that much into it and having confidence in their product. So, well, hopefully they don't. I'm not hoping they try like a second one anytime soon, but hopefully somebody else does and does it right. So Google, stop doing dumb shit. If you're gonna waste money on me.
Yeah. Yep.
All right,
Classic Google.
classic Google. All right, moving on to the next topic. We have E3 coming back in 2023. The ESA, who are the ones that are kind of responsible for E3 and setting it up, and whoever they pick to set it up. They've announced that E3 is coming back to LA in 2023. It's going to be a full week. They're going to have separate days for the industry and public. So the journalists and streamers or whatever can check out whatever they're offering, and then the public can go out there a couple days later and also check out whatever they're offering. Nick and I were discussing this kind of. We're super excited. Hopefully, we can make it. Not having a podcast, we can try and go to these things. But I think we're more excited. At least on my part, I'm more excited just because it's good to have something as meaningful as this for gaming to be back. I know Jeff Keighley has been doing Summer's Game Fest for the last 2 years, and that's been kind of good, especially with the pandemic and all that stuff. It's kind of done away with a lot of in-person stuff, but this is kind of bringing it back. And Summer Games Fest to me hasn't really had that oomph that E3 has had. Obviously, with some of the publishers like Sony and Microsoft and others kind of skipping the events and doing their own thing, or doing videos showcasing everything. It's still not the same, but I have a feeling that it's kind of coming back. It'll be coming back in terms of uh, stuff on the show floor to offer the hype of people being there and trying everything out, because I think that it boosts the product, whatever product they're offering. The more you see like normal people with their hands on it and playing it, and the excitement built around that, especially if it's like a showcase event. I think that helps any company in any game, and just it helps the hype train. And I want to jump on some hype train. This wasn't a good year in terms of, I think, showcases for a lot of video games, because there wasn't a lot of hands-on stuff that people could get their hands on and you could see people playing. So excited for E3 to come back, and hopefully we get some very big announcements next year. We're due for some good, like, shocking stuff that blows up the internet. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I, I guess it's kind of mixed. I think we've talked before where I've always wanted to go to E3, and for some reason I just have never made it there. And I think with the last several years it's been, well, wasn't an option. So now that it's back, like I definitely want to go, but I'm like cautiously optimistic about it. So it'll be good just to have it be like a thing that was on my bucket list, and I can check the box and be like, I've gone to an E3. But whether it's as like glamorous and like maybe glamorous isn't the right word, but like as cool as I wanted it to be, like when it more was like a kid and wanted to go do it. Like I don't think it's going to be like at that level, but so yeah, I think we're going to plan on going. I think it's going to be like kind of a food fight between E3 and like Summer Games Fest, because I don't think Jeff Keighley is going to like back down, or I think he's going to like want to continue to do his own thing, and so I think it's going to like I don't really know what to make of it. And like I think we already know like Sony. I think Sony and Nintendo are pretty like. I feel like they just want to continue to do their own thing and don't necessarily want to participate in these, big like conventions. I think Sony even specifically has said something about E3, but maybe I could be wrong on this, but I think they basically said like they're not doing that. Maybe they changed their tune, but so in my mind, it's like, okay, well, I don't think Sony is going to be a big participant at E3. Nintendo probably not. I could see Microsoft, so Microsoft engaging in that. So really it's just like Microsoft and then some of the other big, publishers and developers. So that alone, is that enough to generate like an exciting event? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think we're gonna go regardless, right?
Yeah, definitely we're gonna show up. I don't think it's like if Microsoft is the only big publisher that kind of shows up. I don't think it's gonna be enough to kind of draw everybody to it, but I think it does count as a plus for Microsoft because if they're the only ones that are able to have anything on the show floor or just have stuff to show at the event, I think it's going to bring more hype to them, and a lot of people are going to be drawn more towards it as opposed to watching 30 to an hour video on Nintendo and Sony stuff. So I think that would work out more for them. And then what was I going to say? There was something else. Oh, and in regards to Keeley like having his own event and stuff like that, I for the last couple of years we know that a lot of the journalists and especially him, I think they haven't been happy with how the ESA has handled E3. So I think you're all right. He's still gonna probably host his own event to compete with E3. So I think it's all a matter of who has the best content, and the ESA is really trying to get the gaming hype back. They're trying to get all the gamers to come back to their side after being kind of gone for the last 2 years. So I'm excited to see what they bring forth and just like how they're gonna battle each other, what's gonna be different, what's gonna be the same about both of them. And you bet we're gonna be covering it, and we're gonna be saying what we like and what we don't like because we have opinions, and they are a lot. All right. Anything else? Got anything else?
No.
E3? No, so we'll see you at
We'll
E3.
see you at E3.
E3 2023.
First, that'll be your first time in LA, is what I learned.
Also, yeah, I might become a movie star and leave this whole leave this whole.
I don't think that's how it works. I don't think you get discovered by going to a gaming convention, but
you never know that David Boreanaz got discovered walking his dog. I could get discovered with a controller in E3. You never know. Don't ruin my dreams, Nick. Don't ruin my dreams.
okay.
So moving on, we wanted to discuss big quarter 4 releases. It has been a slow week, so we wanted to take a look at the future for the last 3 months of the year. The games that are coming out, games that we're hyped about, games that are on our radar, games that we might be wanting to look at, and games that we don't think we'll put our fingers on. We're gonna start with October. With October, we got a couple games on our list. We have Deathverse Let It Die coming out October 5th. It's already out on consoles. Scorn coming out October 14th. Dragon Ball The Breakers coming out October 14th as well. Vampire Survivors version 1 coming out of pre-alpha or whatever it is, or coming out of early access that they had on Steam. That's out on October 20th, and Bayonetta coming out October 28th. Of these October games, I think I'm most excited for Dragon Ball The Breakers, just because I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball, obviously, but also I'm a big fan of games like this, like Dead by Daylight as well, where it's, I forget the name of the genre itself. Do you remember?
Asymmetrical multiplayer, something like that.
That thing, yeah, where you could either play as Frieza, Cell, or Boo, and then the other people could play as the civilians, and it's all about surviving. So I'm excited for that. I know you're a big Vampire Survivors fan. You recommended it. Unfortunately, I did not play it, but it does look fun. Bayonetta 3 as well. They're always good games. Platinum makes good games. They have a big fan base, so I'm excited for that. I haven't played 1 and 2, so I don't think I'll get in on this one yet. Maybe down the road, I'll probably get on Bayonetta when they're all out, and it'll be easier to play the whole series. Death vs. Let It Die. On that end, I played Let It, is it? I guess it's Let It Die. Was Let It Die on
Yep.
PlayStation 4, which was just a Souls-like game. It was pretty fun, but it was kind of wacky too. Not really on my radar. I
Janky
think
and
I'm
wacky.
there you go. Two two nice words to put in a video game.
Hmm.
So I think I'm gonna skip that one. Scorn itself, I don't know if you've seen the video, but it's got that Geiger art style. Looks really disgusting, but interesting. So we'll see how what comes of that. Of these October releases, what are you excited for? Are you looking for anything in particular?
Yeah, I put Death Verse on here. I It's free to play, and it's kind of like, it's definitely got like a Running Man, the movie Running Man. It's definitely got like that vibe. So I don't know. I think it could be like a dumb fun game. So I'll check it out, but I'm not like super optimistic that I'm gonna fall in love with it. But yeah, I think that'll be this week, right? So it'll give me something to mess around with. Scorn, that'll be on Game Pass, and yeah, it's kind of got like a good. I think that's like a good Halloween game. It's
It's definitely got the vibe.
yeah, yeah. So I think that could be cool. And then yeah, I think Vampire Survivors, which is I think probably the number one most recommended game for Steam Deck owners. So yeah, the full version of the game is going to finally come out. So yeah, I've played a ton of the early access build. So I haven't done everything, but I've done like most of the content. So I'll be looking forward to giving that a whirl when it comes out. And then Bayonetta 3, I think we talked about this when we were covering Tokyo Game Show, or like all the events around Tokyo Game Show, and I think I own and have completed 1 and 2, and I'm just like haven't really seen anything to be like, oh yeah, like I need to get this. So I think I'm gonna have like a wait and see on check out the reviews and some of the gameplay impressions, and that'll convince me maybe to buy it. But I don't know. We'll have to see on that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting October where like there's games on the radar, but they might not be like the most go get them right away. Which
Yeah.
moves us on to November. The games that we got on the radar for November are Harvestella comes on November 4th. That's a Square Enix RPG slash farming simulator. God of War November 9th. Oof, that's a good one. And Evil West November 22nd. For November, I think all these three games definitely I could purchase day one. However, still I still got to look at some more. I think that would be of the three, it's the one lowest on the list just because I probably want to play the other two more. God of War, obviously, sequel to the new God of War, the New Age God of War that Sony released a couple years back. the hype is still real. I'm pretty sure they'll probably have like one final trailer soon. The last trailer we saw looked amazing. Still hyped for the game. Can't wait to play it. So that's probably going to take a lot of our time. And I know you like the first one as well. Pretty sure we'll be able to do like a little pressing buttons review, which we haven't done in a while. Except I think the last one, well, the last and only one we did was Elden Ring. So we'll be able to do that. And then Evil West, that one's been on my radar since I saw the trailer at Summer's Game Fest. I really like it. I'm a big fan of westerns, and it's also got like vampires and all those monsters, lore and vibe and all that stuff. It looks exciting. I think it also has some type of co-op or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see and play it with other people. But I like the art style and aesthetic of Evil West. So I'm excited for these three titles. What about you?
Did you play the recent Shadow Warrior games?
No. Is
Okay,
it
it's the
similar?
same developer that did the recent two Shadow Warrior games.
Gotcha.
Same developer is doing Evil West. It's like very obvious when you like see the trailer. You're like, okay, it's from these guys, and that's a good thing. Like the games are like super fun. So yeah, I'm not really looking forward to Evil West. Harvestella is another maybe like wait and see. Uh, I've gotten like a lot of farming gaming in the last several weeks, courtesy of Disney Dreamlight Valley. So I don't know how much more farming I have in me, but well, if the game ends up being like really good, I'll check it out. But
I'm about to start calling you the Commissioner of Agriculture over here.
yeah, okay, sure, could be worse. Uh, so that's Harvestella, and then yeah, I mean God of War is just like a no brainer day one. Uh, I don't know if I'll. I don't know if they have like any like crazy special edition. I know they have like the collector's edition, which I think I'm done with collector's editions, which is another. I think we've talked about that in a prior episode, but I got to find like the best place to buy it to make sure that I have like a physical copy on launch day and maybe get some pre-order goodies. So I still got to do that, but that's definitely a day one. And then we'll see about. I can't remember if Evil West is coming to Game Pass or not, but maybe that's a day one contender as well.
Yeah, I think if the game looks fun from the trailer because it showed gameplay trailer. Obviously, it looks fun. So if it plays like that, I think it's definitely cop on
It's
day one.
definitely like when I saw the trailer, I'm like I can see Hugo live streaming this.
Yeah, I like Evil and the West,
Yeah,
so count me in.
yeah.
All right, and then moving on to December, we have the Callisto Protocol that comes out December 2nd from a studio that has a lot of prior developers that worked on Dead Space, looking very similar to Dead Space. We have Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion that comes out December 13th, which is basically a remaster of Crisis Core that came out on PSP. And then we have High on Life that comes out December 13th. That one is the new game by Rick and Morty creator and his studio, where you play with talking guns that talk back to you and are snarky and funny. The Callisto Protocol, I think we've talked a lot about this on the podcast because I'm a big fan of Dead Space, and obviously this being from developers that worked on Dead Space, I'm super excited to play. My expectations have been tempered down just because I've been seeing a lot more of the gameplay and with the trailers and stuff like that they've releasing, and I feel like it's too much like Dead Space, especially because the Dead Space remake is coming out early next year. I think it's coming out January or February of next year, so it might be a big Dead Space overload. But I'm still gonna get it. It's a horror game. It's an action horror game, and it's Dead Space, and I love it. So hopefully it diverges enough. It's different enough where it doesn't feel like the same game, just made by different people. But it's still on my radar. Definitely, probably a day one for me.
Did you see the they did a story trailer where it
Yeah,
features Karen Fukuhara.
from the
Yeah,
boys.
she was in The Boys, so that was kind of cool to see that.
Yeah, because the one of the problems with Dead Space was that they didn't. I don't think they really went into the narrative of it with the characters. So it does look like with this one they kind of want to give the characters, the main characters, kind of more story. They want people to get to know them more because Isaac, the original protagonist from Dead Space, kind of was a blank slate guy. So it's like I'm an engineer or something, and I'm killing these monsters. Woo! Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Excited for that. I don't know if it's a day one just because it's a big investment to put in an RPG. But I did not play the PSP version, or I think I did, but only for a couple hours. So I'm excited for it to come out and take a crack at it again and play it on down the road. And then High on Life, super excited for that. I know it's very like middle school, high school humor, especially being a big Rick and Morty fan and the creator of Rick and Morty and seeing all the trailers and stuff like that. But I'm excited. I think it's dumb fun, and I'm a guy that likes dumb fun. What about you? What about are you interested in these three?
Yeah, I think I've put Callisto Protocol into more of a wait and see. Uh, I mean, I never played the Dead Space game, so like I don't have that to draw from in terms of like being excited about another version of that because I never played it.
I was gonna say, is it because you're scared? Is it because you're scared? It's okay to
No,
say it's okay to say you're afraid, bro.
no. I mean, I am terrified of Mr. X and Resident Evil 2, so I don't know if there's that type of mechanic, then I'm probably not going to play it. But if it's like gore and jump scares and stuff, I think that's fine. Um, but yeah, I'll probably like check it out at some point. But so it's like like maybe I get it, but I'm not planning on it at this point.
You can watch me stream it because I'll probably
Yeah,
stream it.
that'll probably be enough for me.
There you go.
And then Crisis Core. Yeah, I never played the PSP game. I think some people have played like a I guess there was like a, I don't know if it was like a demo version or if some people just had access to be able to play the game via all these like conventions and trade shows that have been happening. But so there has been some impressions floating around of people actually playing the game, and they're pretty much like, yeah, it's kind of the wacky battle system from the, it's like none of that's really changed, which I think is, I guess I'm okay with that. I've never played it again, so it'll be a new experience for me. I think just because I loved, this might be like kind of dumb, but I love Final Fantasy VII. I love the remake. I didn't get all of the, Zach kind of elements of the lore, and it's because I didn't play this game, so I kind of feel like it's almost like homework where I just like have to play the game just so I can have like a fuller appreciation of what they're doing with Final Fantasy VII Remake. And that might sound kind of silly, but I kind of feel like I have to play this. I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, it does. I think it does, especially because part two of the remake is gonna be focused on
Yeah,
Sephiroth
exactly.
and
I
Zack
mean,
and
that's
all
why
that
they
stuff.
wanted to do this, right? Like I think they specifically said we're going in this direction with the Final Fantasy Remake series. We know like a lot of people didn't play this game, and so we kind of need to re-release it like this so people have a chance to actually play it. So yeah, that's me. So yeah, I think I'm sure it'll be, a fun game, but I don't know if it's gonna like blow me away or anything like that. But it should be fun. It should be fun. And then yeah, High in Life. I think for me, it's just like the release date is. It's like December 13th. I'll probably still be playing God of War. It's like kind of getting crowded with other games that have just come out, and then also like the holidays. So
Yeah, where do you find the time?
yeah, so that would be my only, like, I definitely want to get it. It's just like a timing thing. If it ends up being like a pretty short like 20
I,
to
I,
30 hour game, which is kind of what I would expect. Like maybe
that's what I'm thinking. It
yeah,
does seem like a short game. Also, I think it's on Game Pass. So, you being a big proponent of Game Pass, day one.
there you go. I guess
Yeah.
it, why not? Why not day one then? It's just a question of time, whether I have the time.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. The end of the year is looking pretty good. I mean, not a lot of titles if you count them. I think it's about uh, 12 titles, but they're quality titles. At least there's a quality title every month from here on out for the rest of the year. And we do know that the beginning of the year is pretty stacked as well. So I think we'll do one last one for the beginning of the year, like towards December. We'll go over the first couple of months of the year and what's coming out, because I am excited for a lot of the stuff coming out in the first 3 months of the year.
Yeah,
So
Q1 of next year looks great. So
yeah,
yeah, I think we can do a quarterly report.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
more or less what this one was. And there's way more games coming out, in Q4 of this year. I think these are the ones that just kind of caught our eye.
Yeah.
Like there's like some pretty big games like Overwatch 2, I think is like one. I think isn't there another Pokemon game coming out, or I can't remember. But like there's like
Uh, I was gonna say we don't play that shit about Overwatch because we don't,
yeah.
and then Pokemon is like we play that shit sometimes. So
Yeah. So it wasn't an exhaustive list, but things that we're interested in. And then the again the Q1 next year is going to be a premium game year for sure.
we also, you never know. There's always kind of like sleeper hits that sneak in there where they shoot up the charts and are, hidden gems. So if anything like that pops up, I'm pretty sure we'll find it and we'll talk about it and we'll play it. So, well, yeah, we'll see. Good end of the year for us. And that does it for our video game news of the week. Hopefully we get more news next week, or we'll have to bore you with something else. We're gonna move on to the closing thoughts. I'm gonna start as always. Just finish up Yakuza Kiwami 1. Oof, I have become the Dragon of Dojima. Super excited. Love the game, man. It's being, well, when we took our trip to Japan a couple of years ago, and just the game itself being very faithful to, there you go, the dragon. If you're on YouTube, you can see
Yeah, on
this.
video. I think
Go to
this was
YouTube.
I bought Yakuza 0, I think, and it was like came with it. It was a card, like a business card carrying case.
Yeah.
So I have all these hilarious cards in here.
I mean, if you're a Yakuza and you're the dragon, you gotta have the fancy card carrying case.
See,
It's even got Kasuma's name on it.
there you go.
I
Tachibana
I
Real
love the
Estate.
game. Oh, there you go. There's no better front job than real estate for Yakuza. I love the game, man, and I promise you, and we discussed this at dinner last night, that when we go back to Japan for Evo, definitely getting Dragon of Dojima jacket. Gonna get one of those.
Well,
Nice
you said
little-
tattoo. Did you say you're going full back tat? Which I then said you should not do that for a number of reasons. But I think settling on a jacket is
Yeah. I'll go and I'll meet halfway.
Yeah.
I might have had 4 old fashions by that point. So like, yeah, I should definitely get a dragon tattoo like a Yakuza.
Yeah.
But yeah, great game. If you haven't played it, I recommend it. It's fairly low online to buy. I think it's only like $5 or something like that. And then because I finished Yakuza, I was like looking for another game to play, so I decided to play Resident Evil Village, aka Resident Evil 8. As with all Resident Evil games, it was pretty short. I beat it in like 2 days. Once you get used to it, I enjoyed the game. Enjoyed the story. It wrapped up the Ethan Winters storyline, which started obviously with Resident Evil 7, and you playing as him, and then in this one you play as him as well. It wasn't as scary as 7. I felt like 7 had more tension because you spend a lot more of the time just kind of running away from the family that was chasing you and stuff like that. At the end of 7, it did kind of turn into an action game because you got a gun, like a assault rifle or something, and you were shooting everything at the end. But 8, I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, just not as scary. The characters are pretty good. The bosses were pretty fun. The puzzles were fun. Resident Evil stuff. I can't wait to see what comes up next. I know they're doing the remake of 4 for early next year, but I do kind of want them to get back in line and do like a mainline new numbered Resident Evil third person, because I do like the 7 and 8 being first person horror games, but I'm kind of ready to go back and see some third person Resident Evil action with new characters or old characters, but a new storyline, new number series.
You gonna check out Reverse? I think that also comes out soonish.
Yeah, I think when I bought it, it put it in my library, but it's like it comes out soon, which was funny because I thought that Reverse was like out already. It just people didn't play it, but Reverse is another asymmetrical multiplayer game. I think I played the demo when it originally came out, so yeah, I'll check it out. It's part of the game, so might as well. And then obviously because I finished Resident Evil in 2 days, I was like, okay, what do I play next? So I decided to jump back into the Yakuza world. So I started playing Yakuza Kiwami 2. And it's definitely an upgrade. I know that Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2 were remasters of the original 1 and 2. So, like, definitely the jump from the graphics and the settings and all that stuff from Kiwami 1 to Kiwami 2 is a big leap. And I know we discussed that, like, once I get out of 1 and 2, like, it's probably going to take a dive in terms of quality with 3 and 4 and 5. So I'm a little bit hesitant to play those. I might have to skip a couple. We'll see. But yeah, I'm excited to get back into Kiwami and be the dragon of Dojima, who is taking on the dragon of Osaka, I think. Or the other. There's another dragon. Basically, it's a dragon on dragon fight, and I'm going to come out on top. What about you? What you been up to?
Cool. Pretty light on actual game time this week. So I think I just played. I mentioned I was going to pick up Soul Hackers 2. So Disney Dreamlight Valley is done and dusted from my perspective. I picked up Soul Hackers 2. I've put in a couple hours into that, but haven't played it as much as I'd like. But so hopefully next week I can dig in on that one. And I think I gotta start kind of closing out some of these games that I started up, and I need to have like a clean. October is more of like there's some interesting stuff releasing, but I want to make sure November is just like I'm ready to go right into God of War, and that's all I got. So yeah, so kind of the last of the backlog. Summer backlog is over. Gotta wrap things up.
That's what I've been trying. I mean, unsuccessfully, but
yeah,
I've finished a couple things.
And then, not actually playing games, but game related is there's this game reviewer. His name's Tim Rogers. He was pretty big on Kotaku he's done like a bunch of stuff, but I think he was pretty popular on Kotaku for doing videos for them, and then he launched his own like game review series on YouTube called he does it under Action Button is what it's called. So he's done a bunch of reviews for Final Fantasy VII Remake and Last of Us and Pac-Man and Doom, and so he just kind of does these like very long, like 5-hour, like wild reviews of video games, and I think they're really entertaining. So he just launched one last week for a Japanese game called Boku no Natsuyasumi. I think I said that right. Yasumi.
You probably said it better than I would have.
Yeah. Which is a game that I never heard of. It takes place in it was on the original PlayStation, and you play as like a boy who goes to like a summer, like a summer suburb or summer I don't know. I'm still watching the video, but it's like kind of like another like day in the life of type game
Oh,
where like you're a young boy and you're like visiting like a family kind of in some farm, out in the sticks somewhere in Japan, in rural Japan.
like a summer exchange program.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, you just like walk around. You just like hang out with family, fish. You like there's like a bug, like sumo game. So it's like one of those types of things. But like he just has like an interesting lens to the game and how it's designed and all that. So it's an entertaining video. It's like 5 hours long or something like that. So or 6 hours long.
Oh wow,
And I'm like
that's a lot.
2.5 hours into it. So it's a commitment to watch these things. So that's been taken up. So I haven't been playing games. I've been watching this video about someone talking about playing a game. I think that's probably it.
That's very Inception. I like Tim Rogers. I followed him in Kotaku as well. He, like you said, he definitely has a lot of entertaining videos that kind of deep dive into a lot of stuff. His voice definitely does not match his body. It's funny because when you see him and then he speaks, he has a very very deep voice. So it's kind of like that threw me off the first time I watched one of his videos, and I thought he was like faking it or
Yeah,
had like a voice modifier thing. But he's a good journalist. I like his stuff. He's very dedicated to whatever like video he's doing. He did one on the Xbox Elite controller that was like 20 minutes or something like that, and he like just went in on it, and it was funny, but also very insightful. So
yeah.
I'll probably check. I probably won't spend 2 hours on a video, but I might skim it
Well,
on
I
it
think
a little bit.
his most popular one is for a game called Tokimeki Memorial, which was I think one of the first like dating sim, first like really big. I don't know if it was the first, but it's definitely like one of the first like big ones. But like the dating sim games, which were like very popular in
Yep.
Japan and wasn't localized here, so he did like a very long review on Tokimeki Memorial, which is like, yeah, you should start with that one because it's like just fascinating, just like how he kind of breaks down the game and talks about it. It's never something that you'd be like, yeah, I really want to go super deep on a Japanese dating sim game, but like just the way that he approaches it's really entertaining. So,
That
um,
probably came out 10 years ago.
what's that?
That probably came out 10 years ago.
The game or the video?
The game.
Oh, the game. No, I can't. I mean, it was on the Super Nintendo, I think.
Oh shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so no, like
Maybe it was
30 years
play. I
ago.
can't. I think it was Super Nintendo. Maybe it was PlayStation. I can't remember.
Okay.
I think it might
So
have been
so
Play. It was PlayStation. PlayStation.
so it was definitely one of the first. I mean, PlayStation as well in the late 90s. Definitely one of the first dating sim. No,
Yeah.
okay.
Was it? Maybe. I think it was on both. Whatever. But it was old. It's an older game for sure.
All right.
So yeah, give those. If you need something to watch, if you get tired of Seinfeld reruns, just start throwing on some action
Never
button
get
reviews.
never get tired of Seinfeld reruns.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it for me. I'm still waiting on my TV stand, so it's
You're
still haven't
holding up
watched.
the
I just all I want to do is get the TV stand, set up my TV, and watch Edge Runners
Yeah,
like that. And
you're holding it up. I've been wanting to
yeah,
talk about our Edge Runners with you, and I can't.
I just want to have my actual TV setup,
Yeah, I
not
know
this
what
like
you mean.
patched together thing that I have. So
I know what you mean, and I'm pretty sure a lot of our listeners and viewers have the same feeling. It's like they want to have the perfect setup to sit down and watch something or play something. I feel you. It's frustrating, but I feel you.
yeah, so still waiting. Hopefully next
All right.
week.
Hopefully next week. Or I'm about to also send an angry email for you
Yeah,
and
I
be like,
just sent one yesterday. I
and
was
I'm
like,
gonna,
"Hey, man, you said this
I'm
was going
gonna.
to be 4 to 6 weeks.
It's been 2 months.
It's been 9 weeks
Yeah, I'm about to
with
send an
no
angry letter
communication.
myself.
Like, at least just tell me, like, hey, things are taking a little bit longer than we thought." And it's like, okay, like whatever. But like, they just don't say anything. So like, that's
No.
also adding fuel to the fire, the lack of communication.
We gotta go riot at their door. All right. Well, that does it for another good episode of Pressing Buttons. Thank you guys for joining us. We're another episode older, as I am another year older. That was dumb. But thanks for joining us. And,
We have more Pressing Buttons episodes than you are years old.
well, yeah, that is true. But it was fun. It's been fun. And let's make it fun again next week. Thank you for joining us, guys. Later. Or bye. What do I say?
Bye.
Still, yeah, later.